today. First up, we have the Conservation Volunteers New Zealand. Kiri Huddleston will come up to the table and she has a presentation. Kia ora, Kiri. If you just, your button is on the right there. Yep, and just kia ora. So you'll have the, you know the drill, 5-ish minutes, and that'll include some questions. I'm sure there'll be a lot of interest in your presentation, so thank you so much for being here. I'll just get the presentation up. It's not. We had it working before, so. Sorry about this. This is not cutting into your 5 minutes, I promise. All right. I think that will be more painful for all of you. Yeah.
Sorry, we're just sorting one moment.
It's okay.
Right. I think we have your presentation on. Oh no, we only had the other one. Sorry.
It's okay.
Trusting that the technology, it was working this morning. Oh, there we go. So right, your 5 minutes will start now, and if you click them through, and if it doesn't click through, we'll click them through for you. Just let Sandra know. Thank you.
All right. Ata Marie koutou, ko Kiri toku ingoa. Good morning, everyone. My name's Kiri, and I'm the Auckland Manager, Conservation Volunteers New Zealand. Thanks so much for having me here this morning. I'm going to talk to you quickly a little bit about who CVNZ is and what we do, and then I'd like to highlight one of our programs that we've been running in Tamaki Makaurau, which is benefiting our parks and reserves and also the wider community. And yeah, hopefully I can show how much value it adds, not just environmentally but socially, and how a small input from council to run the programme can have that wider impact, basically.
Kia ora, Kiri. Kiri, you don't need to hold the... Yeah, there you go. If you want to turn it... Just click it when you want to turn it off.
I was like, oh, how do people do this?
Yeah, so no, you don't need to hold on. Thank you.
So CVNZ is an environmental charity and not-for-profit. We operate nationwide now, so here in Tamaki Makaurau, Te Whanganui Atara, Otutahi and Punakaiki. Our vision is an Aotearoa in which all people act as kaitiaki, nurturing nature and each other for generations to come. A whakatauki that kind of resonates with our organisation is He Roringa e OTI, which loosely translates to mean by many hands the task is complete. And that really touches on our belief that everyone has a responsibility to help protect Te Taio, our environment, but also speaks to the huge volunteer input our organisation sees. Although we do have work crews across the country, we couldn't achieve what we do without our volunteer input. So this is just a slide showing our achievements to date for 2022. I won't go into too much detail as I know I only have 5 minutes. But yeah, we're pretty happy with those outcomes and we're hoping that 2023 will see some even bigger and better outputs. So the programme I wanted to talk to you about today was Connecting People in Parks, or CPP for short. It's generously funded through 5 local boards in central Tamaki Makaurau. It's been running for about 10 plus years now, which is really cool. And it's sort of split into 2 main sections. So one is our Tuesday volunteer sessions. So every other Tuesday we'll go out into a park and reserve across one of those 5 local boards. We'll run a volunteer event and we'll teach them about conservation through like weeding or tree planting or removing litter and things like that. So we're helping protect Te Taio and we're connecting people to their local parks. The other aspect of it is the predator control network. So we operate in around 35 parks across those 5 local boards now, and have approximately 150 volunteers who trap regularly with us. So they're maintaining those trap lines and rebaiting them, things like that. So again, yeah, connecting people to their local parks and spaces, teaching them about why predator control is so important, and hopefully through both of those veins, we're inspiring people to become those kaitiaki that we want to see. So in 2023, to try and put a value on the program, I thought I'd start with volunteer hours given. So for the Predator Control Network, you can see that nearly 3,000 volunteer hours were given in around the 34 weeks that they trap in, which if you use the living wage value, comes out to about $70,000 worth, which is pretty crazy. And then the Tuesday volunteer session side of things, over 600 hours were donated, equating to around $16,000. So if we combine those two, it's nearly $87,000 worth, which is pretty amazing. And that doesn't really include the time behind the scenes, organising and promoting it and reporting and things like that. But of course, it's not just the volunteer hour value, it's that ecological value that it has on our parks and reserves across Tamaki Makaurau. So, we can quantify that through litter collected, and then the area weeded and the predators trapped, as well as like various other tasks that they might get involved in. But, we can't really quantify necessarily the species that it protects and the trees and native plants that helps save through all the activities they do. So I just wanted to highlight that despite not being able to put a monetary value on that. And of course, last but not least, it has a huge social value. So, we've got people out there learning new skills, connecting to nature in their local spaces, each other. They're gaining a sense of purpose. The community groups that we often help support when we run the Tuesday sessions are feeling supported. And so I just included a few quotes there to show I'm not making it up. So Wendy John, Friends of Oakley Creek, said, "Thanks for a great effort today. The team did a great job and got heaps done." Yeah, I'll not read out the other quotes, but I'll leave them there for you if you'd like to look through. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to say kia ora and let you know we're here, and we hope to continue doing this amazing mahi with the help of our awesome volunteers, and maybe there's even room to do more going forward. Yeah, kia ora.
Kia ora, Kerry. Thank you very much. Very succinct presentation. Thank you for all the work you all do. It's crucial that we have groups like you and organisations like all the people that are involved with it, supporting the work in our parks and reserves and neighbourhoods. We could not be doing it all, as you say, through local councils or government funding, but it is important that we acknowledge if it was being funded that way, what that cost would be. So thank you for acknowledging all of that, and hope you're all joining in with the Climate Festival, I'm sure, with events that are happening at the moment. Right, do we have any questions? Kia ora, Councillor Bartley.
Oh, kia ora. Apologies for lateness. I don't have a question. I just wanted to acknowledge the work that you do and the volunteers as well for all their work. Especially I know the Orake lot, they come over and help out in Wangakiki Tamaki. So I do want to acknowledge them, the Eastern Songbird crowd as well, for what they're doing and helping out in my area. So thank you very much.
Kia ora.
Do we have Councillor Ferry?
Oh, kia ora, and thank you for that. It was really succinct and effective summary of the work and the difference. I just wanted to know a little bit more about how you work with other community groups. So, like I'm aware of, you've got Wendy Johns up there. I'm aware of a number of groups in my area that you do work with. How does that sort of happen?
Kia ora. Yeah, good question. So often it's the local rangers for the different parks that know of other groups that are working in the area, so they'll often put us in touch with them and ask if we can help them out. So yeah.
So it's kind of the council staff who are helping to make some of those connections. Is that?
Yeah. And I know in one of our other programs, for example, the Migrant Conservation Program, our coordinator Chinchin did a lot of work reaching out to various groups in the area and kind of just did it that way as well. So yeah, but if there's other groups out there that you can think of, do let us know. We're happy to work with whoever.
Right, thanks.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Probably just one last question from me. Is there anything that we can be doing right now to help support or improve all the work you're doing? I know there are sometimes issues with aligning with contractors, or obviously funding is always something I'm sure you'd need or want, but is there any feedback right now that we can do to enable more of the things that you're doing?
That's a great question. I'm like, put me on the spot. Yeah, no, I think just knowing that we're there and, you know, reaching out if there's any ideas that you come up with and you think, oh, who could help support, initiate that or make that happen. You know, we're here and happy to kind of have conversations, and we can make new programs, you know, and I think it's all about trying to connect all the work that's happening out there already, because we're just one group, and if we can combine that effort, you know, we can have wider, bigger impacts, and we don't always know about everything that's already happening. So maybe if there's a way to connect us even better, that would be wonderful. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Councillor Bartley, would you like to move?
Yes, I'd love to move.
Councillor
Thank you.
Ferry, second. Right. All those in favour?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Well, thank you very much, and you're welcome to stay for as long as you like, but appreciate you coming in and presenting to us. Thank you. Next up, we have our friends of Hunua and Southern Regional Parks, the update on the Kokako management project, management area. We have got, is it Miranda and Mary? Kia ora, both of you. If you got your mics there, if you just want to introduce yourselves, and the presentation is up for you to click through, and we'll click through if it doesn't work.
Great,
Kia ora,
thank you very much. Thank you. My name is Miranda Bennett. I'm the Senior Ranger for Conservation in Southern Regional Parks, and I'm the Project Manager for the Hunua Kokako project. I've got Mary Whitehouse with me today, who's representing our Hunua volunteers. The Hunua Kokako Recovery Project started way back in 1994 when it was discovered that there was only one breeding pair in the Hunua Ranges. The project was jointly established by Auckland Regional Council and Department of Conservation. For the next 30 years, council and dock staff, contractors and volunteers have worked tirelessly to protect these precious birds, not only for Hunua and the people of Auckland, but also as part of the National Kokako Recovery Project. Today, the project spans an area of 2,000 hectares within Hunua Regional Park and is home to a population of over 500 kokako. The project has been recognised by the National Kokako Recovery Group as achieving this population milestone of 500 individuals, and as being genetically robust. Hunua is only the second mainland population to achieve this status for kokako recovery. We are immensely proud of this achievement, and that our project holds almost a quarter of the national population for kokako and has been instrumental in bringing the species back from the brink of extinction. So today we're bringing you a conservation success story and a celebration. The last 30 years has been a hard slog, with staff and volunteers committed to year-round animal pest control, targeting the main predators of kokako, possums and rats through trapping and baiting. We are grateful for those who realised the plight of the kokako, the need to act, and for those that championed and secured funding for the project, including Councillor Mike Lee when he was a regional councillor. Today, the project is well supported and funded through Council's Natural Environment Targeted Rate. The Kokako Management Area, affectionately known as the KMA, will be celebrating 30 years next year. Nearing this milestone, our volunteers felt it was important to record the history of this significant project. Stories of the Kokako Management Area has been written by Hunua local Lenny Van Houten. This amazing history not only reflects the last 30 years, but also goes back to the 1930s and 40s to record the tales of Kokako. The book has been a great way for those involved to reminisce and acknowledge the multitude of people who have contributed and been involved. We can't go into all the wonderful details today, but we can say that this history has already brought a lot of joy and pride to our volunteers, staff and the wider community. And we've brought some copies today which we'll leave with the chair. In July, around 60 volunteers and staff associated with the history of the project came together to celebrate the project and this new book. The next step for us is to celebrate the book with a wider audience, and we're going to be holding a celebration event in November 24th at the Botanic Gardens with council and dock staff and other representatives. And we very much hope that some of your committee members will attend this. The success of the Hanua project is greatly attributed to the passion, commitment and hard work of our volunteers, with many thousands of hours contributed to the project's history. We currently have 30 regular volunteers who attend weekly baiting and trapping days. They're an amazing bunch of people, and I'm going to hand over to one of them now to tell you about her experience.
Good morning. My name's Mary Whitehouse. I've been a volunteer on the Kokako program since 2006. So 17 years. I've not only seen the amazing increase in the Kokako, but also a lot of other species as well, tomtits, kaka, and other birds. I didn't even hear a Kokako for 6 years. In fact, I thought that was a hoax. I thought they're just getting us up here to, put some bait lines in and do things in, yeah, okay. Anyway, eventually I heard one, and it's amazing now. Every week when you go, you can hear them. Can't always see them, but you can actually hear them. And I can't say I've been going every week for the 17 years, but, there's been sometimes when I have gone on holiday, things like that. And the amazing thing is that the eradication of goats, as well as the control that we do for the rats, the stoats, the weasels and the possums and all those other things, the thing that struck me most is the growth in the understory. And you notice it when you go back to a line that you haven't done for some time, and suddenly you go, gosh, I can't get through here anymore, it's all grown up. And the density of the bush, and that in turn is attracting a lot more species other than just the birds, which is the thing that was the flagship of the project, but there's all this other side issue. And we know that there are bats, and we know that there are Hochstetter's frogs, but we don't see those because they're pretty hard to see. Hochstetter's frogs are really small. Now, why do people volunteer? The red lines there, that's some of the lines that we cover on the 2,000 hectares. Sorry, I haven't got at the tip of my tongue how many bait stations we've got and how many traps we've got and how many kilometres it is, but I do know it's a lot, and it is hard work. We go up and down and so on, but we also have really rewarding things. The middle ones show an area that we call the cafe, but new people go thinking, oh, there's a cafe up there. You get there and well, it's a hut. And so on. And that's me a few years ago. On the left, we found a baby ruru, morpul, so we took it out of the bush, and about a year later, it fledged. Somebody looked after it, it got fledged, and off it went on its merry way again. So that was really rewarding. And most people, why do they volunteer? I think they start because they like a day in the bush. They like to go to somewhere that other people don't go. And some of them are from tramping groups, most of them are not. Most of them are people who hear about the project one way and another and go, I'd like to do that. And I think although it's hard work, the Hanuas are up and down and narrow trails, and it's often overgrown, and any of you who haven't been there, it's pretty tough work. Lots of sliding around in weather like this, tripping over roots, crossing little streams and so on. And I think and what's so rewarding is at the end of the day when you can compare notes with people, say, how many did you see today? Or how many did you hear today? and that sort of thing. And it's a real privilege for us volunteers to work there. And also, the number of people that we tell about the project and they go, oh my God, that is so amazing. And long may we continue to be so. And wouldn't that be nice? I mean, the other thing actually I have to say too is that the 1080 drops that we've had in the Hanuas have made a huge difference, because we see the numbers go right down of the predators and then back, they gradually come back again, and then we hit them again, and each time it goes down. And you know, we tell people about the projects and just spread the word, and everybody goes, wow, that's fantastic. And long may, as I say, may it continue. And what about predator-free Hanuas before 2050? Be really nice. Thank you for the opportunity to enthuse about this project.
Kia ora, thank you very much. And you can see definitely the enthusiasm from both of you. And from my perspective, whenever I post about, on social media about this project, people are just astonished at what has happened in quite a short amount of time, restoring the whole Ngāhere, really. As you speak about it, all those spin-offs, not just the kōkako, but the other species and the understory, which is kind of bringing back that kind of prehistoric bush, really, which is, I think we wish we all had that in our neighbourhoods, but I think what you've all done with leadership, with obviously council and government support, but without that volunteer base and the people to excite other people, I think you've cracked it on many levels, because it's about bringing people together in the community, the social output as well. But I think what also is so tangible, the effort put in has shown results, and I think that gives other people hope for their bush or their local area, because they can see the change. The numbers going from 20 something to almost 500 birds that we know about is quite amazing. There's almost no room for the kōkako now.
No, they are. They spread out, and then we have to go, oh Lord, we've got to put some more lines in, and we've got to go further and further. So yeah, the days get longer.
But I think also it's been great to see this time. We had no, touch wood or superstitious things, but that there wasn't the pushback on the 1080 that there has been in decades gone by, and I think you can also tell the effort put in to try and avoid it with all the trapping and all the work. It can't just be done by that. You could work for or have 2,000 volunteers and you'd still never be able to do it. So I think showing that you're trying your best to avoid the chemical use, but acknowledging that has been an integral and important part of the restoration of the species, but getting rid of those introduced species as well. Kia ora, Councillor Baker, you question, comments?
Yeah, just a comment, and apologies for being late, but great to see you, Mary. And I guess because it's in the Franklin area, the knowledge of this project is fairly deep, and so I really do want to acknowledge everyone that's involved. To the volunteers, Mary, and my daughter is one of the volunteers, so from school. So they attract people from wide and far. So I just want to acknowledge you and to thank you very much. And it is a sensational project that's just gaining in. Great to hear your comments about 1080. Simon Randall, who's a former local board chair, and no one around this table who did his degree in that sort of stuff, once described it as the most, whilst it's ugly, it was the best thing available, and it's the only thing available. So it's great to hear you talk about the impact of that, because we often get the negative stuff of that sort of stuff. So congratulations, and thank you so much for looking after the range.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and can I endorse Councillor Baker's sentiments, and I want to thank you both and all your friends and your fellow volunteers for your passion and commitment to keeping with this job and succeeding so brilliantly. Can I just say that it's an unusual project. Normally in local government, councillors, politicians approve initiatives that officers put before them. This was somewhat different. In late 1992 and early 1993, over that Christmas holiday period, there'd been a census of the kōkako and the hunuas. There'd been previous such counts every 2 or 3 years, and the trend was going down. And so I was a newly elected chairman of regional parks, and the agenda item was that the report be received. And in the 1980s, I'd driven around in my car with a Save the Kōkako sticker in the back window, but I'd never ever seen a kōkako, of course, like most New Zealanders. But I was pretty well versed in conservation biology, just having come out of Auckland University. So I put in a B in the recommendation that the Auckland Regional Council intervene and actively protect the Hunua kōkako. The General Manager of Regional Parks at the time, Mr. Phil Dew, raised his eyebrows, but, you know, I was the chairman, and the idea was strongly supported by staff, particularly on-the-ground ranger staff, and by Brenda Green, the scientist, and later, of course, Tim Lovegrove, Dr. Tim Lovegrove. And there was a tremendous amount of hard work went in at the start, and a lot of that work was carried out by Ranger Hugh Downham. It's a 2-hour walk up to the trig at Koakoanui, and it started off with a hut with a dirt floor. But Hugh Downham did a lot of the back-breaking work, building tracks, steps, and all the rest of it. And so he was an exemplar for all the hard work of staff and volunteers. So again, I just want to thank you. It was a great, that particular council became the first local body to actively be involved in protection of endangered species. I contrast that to what happened on Great Barrier Island, Aotea, at the same time. There was another race of kōkako there, which was also declining, because no one was able to intervene, as we were in the Hunuas, that race of kōkako, which may be a bit different, may have been a bit different from the North Island kōkako, because it was isolated for 10,000 years, is now functionally extinct. So that's what would have happened had local government not stepped in with the Hunuas. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Good, Councillor. Thank you. Councillor Bartley.
Oh, thank you, Chair. Good to follow Councillor Lee. Good on you for supporting this when you were in that role. That's so good to hear. Picking up on what Councillor Baker said about whilst they're ugly, they're the only thing available, sounds like my dating life. But I wanted to ask a question. If I wasn't a councillor, I wouldn't really know about this because I don't go hiking or trekking. And it's usually when it comes up in a report, it's just a line in the report, so it's so good to have you here in person talking about it. But how do other people know about it so that they can, you know, support this work? Like, can you actually go there and see the kōkako?
They're starting to get into areas which are more publicly accessible. So Pigot's Camp is not too far a walk, and that's probably the best location. But what we're hoping is, as this population grows, it will get to the more accessible areas. Unfortunately, the area they were protected in which the kōkako loved is very much in the centre of Hunua, which is more of an experienced walkers, hikers sort of trip in. But yeah, we're hopeful they will spill into areas that the public will get to. We did trial a couple of years ago some guided walks for the public, and they were very popular. Unfortunately, COVID came along and kind of stopped all of that, so it's something that we'd like to restart again with our rangers, is taking people in and showing them the kōkako and providing a more available experience for the public.
That's cool. If you do more walks, I'd love to do one.
Or maybe we should do a councillor's walk.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Good for TikTok. Big audience on TikTok.
Love it.
Could I just add something to that? We do also have to work with water care and manage a lot of the area, and we have to actually go through that area. And a lot of those tracks, particularly when it was forested, which they're now planting natives, but when it was forested, it was not accessible to the general public because the gates and things were locked. So we had special dispensation to go through to get to the area without having to walk the 8 kilometres first. Was that? It used to be. It was 8 kilometres to get to where we had to start the work. Now we don't have to actually walk that.
It's okay, we can drive you that bit.
Cool. Right, so thank you very much again. And, just want to acknowledge not only the volunteers, Mary, please pass on our regards to everyone involved, but also Miranda, I know that you yourself probably do far more volunteer hours on top of your paid role at council for this work. I know that it's a lot of nights and weekends. And
it's a passion project.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. But I think you're a testament to many of the council whānau who go above and beyond outside what a job is expected of them. So thank you and the team for the passion and the focus in this area. Right, I'll get Councillor Lee, would you like to move, and Councillor Baker second?
Very happy to. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Cool. Thank you very much. Thank you both for coming and giving us another taste of the awesome work going on in Hurua.
Please read the book, the
Yes.
stories.
Thank you for the book. We'll ensure that gets around to everyone for them to take a look.
Thanks.
Kia ora. All those in favour? Any opposed? No, wouldn't think so. Right, next up there was no local board input. We'll go to, there's no extraordinary business. We'll go on to just acknowledgements now.
Sure.
We have 2 staff acknowledgements. First of all, and neither can make the meeting, but we did acknowledge Dawn briefly yesterday, but I do just want to have it on record, our acknowledgements of Dawn Mackay, who is until Friday, our Manager of Growth and Spatial Strategy. She's retiring. She's leaving council after 27 years of service in local government in Auckland. She also did 3 years of local government in Hawke's Bay. Prior to amalgamation, Dawn did stints in most of the previous councils, and these roles she gained a lot of solid understanding of planning issues around the Auckland region. Since amalgamation, Dawn has made a huge difference, and her stamp is in the space of regional spatial planning. She's also developed Auckland's first infrastructure strategy, which was adopted by council as part of the first LTP. In terms of spatial planning, Dawn has led the development of the rural-urban boundary, the future urban land supply strategy, the development strategy, and under the new legislation, the future development strategy. She will leave a lasting impact on Auckland's future. I actually shouldn't have said retiring up there, because Dawn prefers not to say retiring. She doesn't like that word, but she's going to take it slower and focus on other passions, such as jewellery design, and also her, I think, grandchild she was talking about yesterday. So I know Dawn hopefully will be listening or will be passed on to her, but I just want to acknowledge Dawn and her work. I don't know if Councillor Darby might want to say something too, or Megan, but phenomenal amount of work for the where we are as a city, but also the future. And I hope Dawn ensures her family, because she is pretty humble, I'm sure her family and friends should know the fantastic work she's done for the city, and the work she's done will be seen for future generations. So kia ora and thank you, Dawn. Maybe just a round of applause for Dawn, even though she's not in the room. Kia ora. And second, unfortunately, you won't know her well. Vanessa Blakelock is leaving. She's unfortunately unwell today. She can't make the last meeting of the PEP committee. We will miss her a lot. She's leaving on 12th of September, is it? She's obviously the executive officer for the Chief Planning Office and supporting Megan. And she's taking up a fantastic opportunity as the Partnerships Director at DIA based in Auckland. So she will have a lot to do with us, we hope. And she'll be leading key issues affecting the sector in support of the Minister of Local Government. Vanessa joined Auckland Council in 2014 as a Principal Strategic Advisor in the Strategic Advice Unit, becoming a team leader later that year. Vanessa led a team of strategic advisors in complex submissions with central government and strategic work across the organisation, working on the 2015 LTP and the refresh of the Auckland Plan. And Vanessa was appointed in 2019 to be Megan's executive officer. Throughout the last few years, Vanessa has been deeply involved in all things relating to planning and the work of this committee and previous committees last term. She is an energizer bunny and will be missed. I really, really, really appreciate her advice and support and her humour as well. Some of that will go, won't talk about that. Some of the jokes we might have after a very long day at a planning committee, but I am very sad to see her go, but very excited for her role. Unfortunately, she can't be here today, but just want to acknowledge Vanessa and all she's done for our city. Just want to check there's no one else who wants to. Right. Don't think we have to officially approve, but another round of applause for Vanessa. I'm sure she'll be watching the live stream and future live streams, even though she's not here. But kia ora, Vanessa. Thank you. Right. We'll move.